AllMySons Act III. Joe Keller enters as Jim exists. Joe and Kate discuss strategies for winning Chris back as they await his return. Kate believes that Joe can prove his remorse by offering to go to jail. She suggests that Chris will then forgive his father and not actually insist on his imprisonment. Joe, on the other hand, continues to claim that his decision was justified as a means to maintain his business and provide for his family. According to this logic, his only crime has been to love his family too much. Yet Kate reminds Joe that their son does not share these values. Joe can only reply that if this dedicated dedication to his family is wrong, he will put a bullet in his head. Now, here what has happened is that now Chris has a clear notion that his father is guilty. And Kate explains to her husband Joe that now you should tell Chris that I'm ready to go to jail. No son will want his father to go to jail. So, what will happen? He will forgive you and things will become all right. But you'll have to accept what you have done. Now, this is one logic which Joe is not able to understand. So, he says that if whatever I did was wrong, whatever I did was for my family, for the welfare of my family, if it was wrong, then I'm going to put a bullet in my head. While Joe and Kate continue to talk, Anne enters and proposes her own solution to the predicament. She demands that Kate finally admits to herself and her family that Larry is dead. And then Chris can start a new life and with Anne without feeling either regret or guilt. Now, Anne comes and she has one more idea. What she says is that, Kate, you need to accept the fact that Larry is dead. Now, this will make Chris free to marry me and he will be out of the guilt. As might be expected, Kate refuses to enter into this new bargain and banishes Joe from the yard, presumably so that she can settle the matter with Anne once and for all, without interference from anyone else. Yet, Anne reveals a surprising piece of evidence that derails Kate, a letter written by Larry on the day of his disappearance. Kate becomes visibly distressed while reading the letter. Now, Kate absolutely refuses for anything like this. Now, Anne has something to show to Kate. Now, it so happens that usually in a drama, a letter or envelope has been a very important document to tell us something about the past or something about a particular character who is not on the stage or he is not very much in the picture. Now, here also the letter plays a very significant role. So, what has Anne done? She has got a letter written to her from Larry the day he disappeared. This letter she gives to Kate, and Kate becomes extremely distressed when she reads the letter. Before the contents of the letter can be shared, however, Chris rejoins the group and proposes yet another plan of action. Now, before the letter can be read, you have Chris coming in, and he has a third plan of action. He will depart immediately and leave his current life behind him. Even Anne, whom he claims should surely grow to hate him over time for his association with the man and business that destroyed a family. Now, Chris comes in, what does he say? That he has another plan, and that plan is he's going to leave everything and go away because he feels that Anne is also going to hate him because what his family has done to her family, how his family has destroyed his family. He will neither open the case again nor jail his father. It seems that Chris has become, in his own words, too practical to enforce his own ideals. His claims are put to an immediate test as Joe re enters and engages his son in a final confrontation. Now, Chris says, I don't want to put my father to jail. I don't want to do anything else. I don't want him to feel guilty about it. I just want to be practical and move out so that everything sorts out. Meanwhile, Joe comes and they again have a heated conversation. A tragic chain of events now commence that no one can halt, despite any prior claims or plans, as Joe and Chris argue. Anne shares the letter with Chris, who reads it aloud. The play reaches its dramatic climax at this moment. The letter reveals that Joe did, in fact, kill Larry, but not in the way that he had imagined. Larry, distraught over the news of the father's guilt, resolves to commit suicide on his next mission and asks that Anne not wait for his return. Now, Chris reads the letter loudly. Now, this is the most dramatic moment in the drama, and he reads the letter, which reveals that Larry committed suicide because he knew what his father had done. He knew that his father was the culprit of killing 21 soldiers. So, he committed suicide. He couldn't face people, he couldn't face his own self. So, this is how he decided to exit. And he also says in the letter that, Anne, you should not wait for me. Upon hearing this news, Joe finally realizes that the soldiers lost due to his faulty engine parts were all his sons. As the title of the play suggests, now Joe realizes that the soldiers were also his sons. How could he do something to them? How could he supply these faulty engine parts that killed the soldiers? This realization so devastates Joe that he takes his own life by ex- exiting into the house and shooting himself, presumably with the gun mentioned in Act 1. Now, Joe is not able to take all this anymore, so he enters the house and commits suicide and departs to seek help from Jim. Chris investigates by running into the house. He returns on stage and mutters to Kate, I didn't mean to. Mother and son cling to one another as the curtain falls. Now there is a big commotion. Everyone is running around. And then Chris goes inside to see his father and comes out and tells his mother that I really didn't mean it. I didn't mean that my father is going to take this kind of a step. I mean, I didn't want him to do this. But mother and son, they hold each other in their arms, understanding, trying to understand, and this is the end of the play.